Welcome to the Build Business Acumen podcast, where we deliver practical knowledge and powerful guidance. Here is your futuristic host, Nathaniel.
Since there was so much positive feedback whilst we released the last episode from the archives, it was released in December 2021, but it was actually from the archives in 2017. And I've learned a lot more about personal branding. I've really honed my abilities. And I've been working with Kim Adele Randall, who's actually in the process of rebranding at the moment. We will be rebranding the Build Business Acumen podcast in the coming weeks and months to fit in with our new legacy media hub, which will also be launching. So watch this space for that. And now I'm going to dig into the podcast. I hope you like it, and I hope it adds massive value and helps you in your life. And if you would like some more resources, I have masses of resources around personal branding, something I've been studying for over a decade. And I'd be delighted if you'd like to grab a copy of my book, Cheers to You, then you can do that as well. I'll drop a link somewhere in the show notes. Thank you very much. I'll dig into it now. Cheers. So this is the ultimate guide to personal branding. This is a course that I've been putting together for a long time, and it's applicable to everybody from coaches, like I say, to corporate executives and anyone else, small business owners, and even top executives and CEOs as well, because it's a process, a proven process. So who am I? I'm a futuristic podcast host, trusted advisor, and I've created more than 250 interviews. I have interviewed lots and lots of public figures. And in fact, this is how I actually met Kim Adele, who is my business partner now. So it's incredible what media can do, and actually connecting with people is vitally important to your business. So goals for this are basically where to begin with your personal brand and actually defining your niche, how to get 5-star support. And I'm going to explain a bit more about that as we kind of move forwards, how to promote yourself the easy way, and how to get a better job, get better clients, and stand out for the work that you do without annoying people, and more. So like I say, whether you're a CEO, a C-suite executive, or a student, or even a coach or a consultant, how you show up directly affects you, and it affects the clients that you get, and it affects your entire life, basically. And I mean, even if you were looking to get a job, if you think 75% of HR departments are required to look up applicants online before inviting them to an interview. So if you think about that in relation to your business, it makes a massive difference, because people research you before they do business with you. And, you know, I would not be in business with Kim Adele if I hadn't looked at her profile. All right, we got on very well when I interviewed her around imposter syndrome about just over a year, almost 18 months ago. But in fact, if her online brand had been really awful, I wouldn't have gone into business with her, and we wouldn't be sitting here, and I wouldn't be delivering this training. So everyone has a personal brand, and how are you showing up in the world is the question that you basically want to ask yourself before you even start to progress with your business. You need to take a look at your existing brand, what it looks like. Is there anything that you actually want to remove that you're really unhappy with, that you think doesn't reflect your abilities and your skills in the right light? So check on Google, have a look at yourself, right? And if you are thinking that you actually are not bothered about building your personal brand in relation to your business brand, which I highly recommend, look at the figures here. And this is a study according to entrepreneur.com, 561% more reach from employees, and that's you, in relation to your business, sharing brand messaging. So whether you have a consultancy business, a coaching business, or a car wash, it really doesn't make any difference. If you're showing up as a person versus or on top of your brand, you are going to actually have a lot more bang for your buck, so to speak, as they say in America. There is no I in team, and how to stand out for the work that you do is really, really important. You need to be talking about the team. What has the team done? How have you got there together? And you need to align yourself with the organization's brand and values. And people do go wrong there. Kim and I talked about this. We've been talking about this for 18 months or so. Personal agenda is always a concern, is what she says. And help whomever it is that you're talking to and find out what's important to them and think about how you can help them. And this is important. If you can ask good questions and you can find out what's really important to someone, that's gonna help a lot when it comes to teamwork. You are the author of your personal brand. I appreciate being over publicized may not be a great thing, but I think being disappearing out of sight and out of mind is out of money, honey, according to this unknown actress. This is from John Ferraro, who I went to see when I was out in California last year, and that was all thanks to my personal brand. He's actually the CEO of Nimble. He built the first customer relationship management tool, one of in the world, and sold it for considerable amount of money. And we had a really nice conversation. And if you want the link to that episode, it's very interesting. Please reach out to me. I'd be happy to share it with you, because it's all about actually building relationships and using your personal brand to do that. And you are the author, right? Taking a look back to actually think about what you've done over the past few years and actually thinking about where you are is a really good exercise. And then you take a look forwards to where you want to go. And that is really, really important. And if you look at what I've done over the past few years, I had a one might call it, the man upstairs spoke to me and said, you need to start a podcast show. And at the time in my life, I just finished doing a podcast show with a partner. And I had this inspiration. I had these words in my head telling me to start a podcast show. And that's basically what I did. I followed my inspiration, and that's actually transformed my life. So I basically built a personal brand plan. And what was amazing was I really knew nothing about personal branding. And I worked with someone who helped me to craft my personal brand. And then I became like a technology influencer. And then I used the businesses that I worked with to build my personal brand. And that goes for your clients too. I mean, for example, if you work with an amazing business like IBM or Samsung or HP, and you don't showcase that, you're missing an opportunity to begin to build your personal brand. Standing on the shoulders of giants is basically what it's all about. It does take some time, it does take some effort, and it does take a plan. And being authentic is absolutely crucial when it comes to this. But you are in control of it, and you do choose how much of yourself you show the world. So back to, which direction do you want to go with your business, your life, your job? Do you want to get a promotion? Do you want a new job? Do you want new clients? Do you want to change direction and redefine your niche, right? So for example, you might be, you might be a coach within the fitness industry, and you might think, well, actually, I don't want to be in the fitness industry. I would like to be different kind of coach. I'd like to be perhaps a corporate coach or a leadership coach. So then you need to go back to school, and you need to start learning, obviously, about what you need to deliver this, but also you need to have some passion for where you're heading. And this is really, really important. But asking yourself which direction you want to go in is really, really important. And I know you probably know all this. Having a vision is absolutely crucial to getting where you want to go. So where to start with building your personal brand and building your niche, repositioning into your niche, or becoming a thought leader? You need to begin with words. This isn't about a logo. It's not about headshots. They come actually after you have built the wording, right? So you open a Google document or a Microsoft Word and you begin to list all your interests and topic ideas for your niche. If you've decided on that. If you haven't decided on your niche, then that's actually quite fun, because then you get to look at all the niches that are available that you could actually niche down into, and you can make a list of the ones that actually appeal to you. But if you are just starting your business, becoming niche orientated is very difficult if you don't have experience already within that area. So I would search for relevant thought leaders on certainly on Amazon in the books. I would actually have a look. I would look at the comments within the books and make notes of things that really stand out, that really make you inspired, which really give you a sense of, well, I have similar skills to this lady or this gentleman. They're really successful, and the only difference between where I'm at right now and where they are is that they have a book, or they have a really good profile, and they use these sorts of words, and they're in this sort of niche. So you must begin with this research. This is very, very important. So search for relevant organizations that you could join once you have your personal brand in shape. So that could be coaching organizations. It could be all sorts of, it could be consultancy organizations. It could be lots of different things depending on your work history, because everybody is totally different. So this is where you really ideally need to begin, because building a brand blueprint document is crucial to getting your authentic brand out there, right? And it's crucial to briefing photographers, to positioning yourself within the press, so getting good PR within certain areas. And it gives you consistency across all your communications, which is really, really important. It does take a little bit of time, but you don't have to spend too long doing it. And we're going to help you with all the resources that you need. So please check around for the downloads, and you can have a look at those. So first of all, let's assume that you've already decided on the niche that you're going into. You've done your research. You've decided that you want to reposition or you want to launch within a certain industry. So you need to begin by listing 3 to 5 benefit statements explaining what you do. So these are, what do you do for others, right? I help executives get organized to make time for the urgent and important. That was a top executive PA that we worked with in my prior business. And she used to work with McLaren and all sorts of top CEOs. And this was one of the simple statements that she created. And you can do that for your coaching business, your consultancy, or your particular skills that you're using within your venture, whatever venture, small business, medium, large that you're in, you can do this. So, excuse me. So so basically make sure that these words are very simple to use. Have a thesaurus, have that, use Google, or actually use the old paper thesaurus, and think of the words that really are simple for people to understand and reflect your abilities, and keep it super simple is my advice. So then list 3 to 5 authority and credibility building statements. Have you won awards in your previous business? Have you won awards as a coach? Do you have 20 years experience? Have you got to a top level within an industry? Don't be afraid to showcase awards that you have and who you work with, because this can help you. For example, if you don't feel that you have experience within a certain area, you can always say that you worked with a certain individual or a business, and that will help you to position yourself. I delivered workshops for IBM, for Microsoft, and spent a lot of time working with Oracle. And that's really helped me to position myself as a thought leader. And it's enabled me to get people onto my podcast show, which has then helped me to build more credibility and authority, but it could be, what school you went to, what university you went to. There are many, many ways to do that, but it's pretty simple in essence. So these I find very, very interesting. Building your differentiating statements are very, very important. But if you sit down, you can do this. You take your time and you think, well, why am I different? Why am I better than someone else? Do I have a specific process that works better than other individuals, for example? And take your time and go back to the research, to all the notes that you made, and look more at people in the industry that you're looking to become more famous in, and take your time to put these 3 to 5 statements together. And that's going to really help. You may choose that some of them could be for specific areas. Some of them could be for specific niches. So then, for example, you might say, well, I have worked with so-and-so, so-and-so, and we have learned how to make this efficient process work. And we have set new performance delivery standards for the coaching industry. We've taken away the pain from coaching or consultancy. So there's just some examples to get your gray matter ticking along. So these words here, onto the next part of this document. These 3 to 5 words that explain your superpowers are words that they sit behind your persona. So it's a bit like your tone of voice and the way that you want to be perceived. If you're briefing a marketing agency to work for you, it's very helpful to actually give them this document that you have and you've completed. But don't worry, if it's something that you have found very difficult to do yourself, ask some friends or family to help you. Ask them to tell you, what words do you think about when you think about me? And for example, Kim Adele, she says that she thought she was flighty. That's one of the words that she thought. But actually, when she was asked by her friends and colleagues, they said that she was fearless, which was fantastically interesting. So it's very good to ask people their perspective on you. It's very useful for this process. So now what I want you to do is take your time, create your brand blueprint document for all your communications. It's like a square, 4 boxes with a cross in the middle. And you list all of these statements there. You have a 1-page document that then becomes really, really useful for what you're doing. And now you begin to grow your relationships and to really focus and dig down into that niche, to deepen relationships you already have, and to find new people in your industry to build relationships with, but also build credibility and authority. Because if you're repositioning yourself, if you are positioning yourself, it's very, very helpful to see who the other thought leaders are within that industry and take the time to create some content for yourself or hire an agency that will do that, and then deepen the relationships that you already have. And find some really influential people in your industry to build relationships with, because that's how you build your brand. You work with other people to build your brand and showcase who you are. And that's very, very helpful. So like I said a minute ago, don't worry if you can't write. Ask a friend or a family member or a colleague to help you, or potentially hire someone to help you. Many HR departments will help you with your writing. And also, if you're in a coaching or a consultancy or a small business, you will have some resources that you can put into this, hopefully. But use the thesaurus. So now you go on to build 5-star relationships. Build relationships with people who are credible. They are an ideal client or mentor, and they're highly connected in your industry or the industry that you want to go into. And this is very, very important. So, for example, I was doing some work within the technology space. So I built relationships with people who were the top of their game. So, for example, Nicholas Babin there, he rolled out something called the Talking Dog, IBO it was called, for Sony in Europe. And he did that for Sony 20 years ago. So he's a veteran in the IT industry. It's the same with Michael Tobin, who's in the middle here. He merged two cloud companies and merged them together. And he helped me to launch a podcast show. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone a little bit and build relationships with people who you're perhaps a little bit frightened of approaching, because that's really, really good for you. That's going to help you to get moving. And I really had a lot of great introductions, because what happens is that it's a bit like a snowball. When people introduce you to one person and then they introduce you to someone else, then you end up interviewing the most amazing people. Like I interviewed the host of the Golden Globes, who helped me with my media training. And then what you do is, once you build relationships with these people and you've perhaps delivered some work for them, you might have done something for them for free, you might have interviewed them, or showed up when you said you were going to show up, delivered what you said you were going to deliver, over delivered what you said you were going to deliver, right? That's the time you can start to organize your testimonials. If you ask someone for a testimonial and you think, well, I know how busy they are, they may not write this for me, and you give them a suggested testimonial to write for you. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Just say to them, hey, John, I know you're really busy, but I'd really appreciate it if you could write a testimonial for me. I was thinking something like this. Feel free to adapt it if you don't think it reflects what I've done for you. And this is really, really helpful. I can't say that enough. Video testimonials and written are really, really important. And I interviewed the ex-cybersecurity deputy chief from the US, with the people who created the cybersecurity centers in the UK, with the chap who grew the cybersecurity policing unit up to 2,000 people from 80. And that was his last interview. So for me, that was like a monumental moment in my career, because it meant that I got recognized within the cybersecurity space as someone that knew the right people. And this is very, very important. So, yeah, we're kind of open to any questions. If you'd like to ask us, we can. If people aren't passionate about what they're doing, if it doesn't excite them, and they kind of wake up and go, oh, I've got to deal with another client that's going to give me a headache today, or it's like, look, isn't it about time that you maybe change what you're doing and try to move into something else, right? It's kind of, it's a difficult one, because perhaps you've invested 20 years of your life, but if the energy isn't right for you and you're feeling kind of demotivated, then perhaps it is time to start researching, start putting that plan in place, and actually, think, well, in 5 years, I know 5 years perhaps seems like a long time, but in 5 years, you would be surprised how much you can actually do. Once you've created that vision for where you want your business to be, where you want your life to be, it doesn't matter if you don't have a business, but you've got a life. And that life, if you can create a vision for it, then wow, like even 1 year in, I mean, we're 1 year into our 5-year plan, and it's transformed our lives, the people we talk to on a daily basis, the work we do on a daily basis. And it's re-energized my life, really, if I'm brutally honest.
So the more that we can get it in black and white, the more that we can really condense it down, the more chance we give our subconscious brain to search for the opportunities and bring them into focus for us to be able to achieve our goals. So the longer that you can spend doing the research, testing and learning, asking friends and family, asking trusted colleagues, because they can really help you see past your blind spots. you've already chatted about mine. I thought I was flighty and a little bit stupid. Everybody else
That
thought
was it. It was the little bit stupid thing, and I'm like, oh, I can't say that about Kim.
But once I knew that and could go, okay, how could I live my life under their view? How could I take their words and bring it into line? And actually, what was it? What specifically were the skills? Because at the time, I was really struggling with where mine sat. So what I would say is, ask for that help. And does it come at it from the view of the customer? What is either their problem or desire? Because that's one of the biggest challenges I see talking to businesses, is they're trying to create a want when they're a needs-based product. So you've got to identify what it is that you're doing. Are you needs-based or wants-based? And obviously we'll get into that in more detail in a future session. But really start thinking about the end customer. Put yourself in their shoes. What's the problem or the desire?
Well, fantastic. Thank you. I've enjoyed presenting this, actually. It's I'm also creating a more advanced one of these, which will be done in the next month and a half, because our publisher has asked me to create one. So I'm going to be delivering a webinar for those guys, which will be more advanced personal branding, really focusing on expanding the reach, expanding the influence, etc. But if you follow where we're at in this presentation, you read the book, you will take your business to and your life to the next level. So I can't thank you enough. Really enjoyed presenting this, and I'd like to personally thank Kim Adele for sitting through my presentation. And unfortunately, I had to cut out some noise because she just bought a new beautiful puppy called Pudding. So I was a bit sad to cut out her amazing insight. However, we will be delivering a lot more around this particular topic, because we know how important it is for career, business, and entrepreneurial ventures. So thanks once again for tuning in, and we love you.
Thanks so much for listening. Please subscribe, and wherever you prefer, share with your friends. And if you enjoyed the show, drop us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen.